Hey everybody, John Skiba from the Consumer Warrior Project and the Arizona Consumer Law Group. In today's video, I wanted to touch on how long it typically takes to become debt-free. You know, debt is stressful. It causes problems not only on the financial side of things, obviously, but it takes a big toll on families and marriages and just your general well-being. So people who are in debt, they want to get out of debt as quickly as possible. So I thought I would go over the 3 different ways that we help people to get out of debt and typically how long each of them takes. The first of which is bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is kind of the nuclear option. It just gets rid of the debt completely. And many of my clients, when they go through the bankruptcy process, they get done and they actually don't owe anything except for maybe like their house payment. You know, that doesn't go away, but all the credit cards, medical bills, all those things are eliminated completely. And how long that process takes depends on which chapter you file. Most people that file Chapter 7. That's a typical what we call straight bankruptcy or liquidating bankruptcy. In Arizona, that process takes about 4 to 5 months from the day the case is filed until your judge grants you a discharge, which is the order of the debt, or the order from the court that eliminates all of the debts. If you file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, which is more of a restructuring or reorganizing of your debt, that process is much longer. It's usually at least 3 years, and in most cases, it's 5 years long. So it's a much longer process. It does have a lot more tools, and sometimes it's the only option, because if you make too much, as far as in what too much is defined is as making more than the average family of your size in Arizona. If you make more than that, you may be forced to file a Chapter 13 based upon what the bankruptcy code says. So bankruptcy on Chapter 7, 4 to 5 months, Chapter 13, 3 to 5 years. The next thing that we help people with is a lot is debt settlement. Debt settlement's a little bit tricky to say exactly how long it takes, because a lot of it will depend on how much money you have to settle your debts. If you're going to your creditors and asking them to take a reduced amount, they will often do that, particularly if the account has been charged off or if it's delinquent. However, if you have a lump sum to pay them, an immediate payment of cash, they'll often take much less than if you're asking them to do payments over time. As far as how much they'll take, you know, often a good settlement, I always say, is anywhere in the 20 to 30% of the amount that the creditor is saying is owed. However, sometimes it's as high as 50%. It's also as low as 10%. There's a lot of different factors that go into that. But if you're asking them to do payments, often they're going to just push. One, they're going to require a lot more money, and 2, that'll take a lot longer. You know, that could take a year, 6 months, 2 years, however long it takes you to get it paid off. Whereas if you do have a lump sum to work with, and a good place to get a lump sum is this is tax refund season. A lot of people use their tax refunds to settle out debts. That can usually happen within a few weeks. The final one I want to talk about is debt collection lawsuits, because we deal with a lot of those, particularly ones brought by junk debt buyers like Portfolio Recovery Associates, Midland Funding, Cavalry SPV, Cash LLC. These are all huge debt buying companies that file thousands, and I should say tens of thousands of lawsuits in Arizona every single year. Those lawsuits are resolved largely depending on which court they're filed in. Any case in Arizona where the amount in dispute is under $10,000 are filed in the justice courts. If it's over $10,000, it's going to be in the Superior Court. For cases in the justice court system, again, under $10,000, those matters are usually resolved in 10 to 12 months. So you're looking at about a year to get that case resolved, which I know is shocking to a lot of people that it actually takes that long. But there's 2 things for that. One is the courts just move slow in general, just because they have a lot of cases, there's one judge, and it takes time to process everything. But 2, there are these rules in place that require certain things to happen at certain stages and in certain timelines. So that can influence your case as well. So if it's going to go to a trial, then in justice court you're looking at 10 to 12 months. In Superior Court, it takes even longer. Those are for cases over $10,000. There are more steps, more hoops that you have to jump through to get to a trial date. Those ones take anywhere from 12 to 18 months to get a trial date. So it takes quite a bit of time, but sometimes that's the best route to go, because if you aren't dealing with other debt problems, a lot of times those cases can be won or settled for quite a bit less than what it is that you actually owe on it. So those are some of the timelines you're looking at as far as getting out of debt and how long it takes. One thing I tell clients a lot is I know it's frustrating that it takes so long in most cases to deal with these debt problems. I always say you got to remember it often took years to get into the debt problem. And so it's not likely going to be resolved in a couple days or a couple weeks even. These are often, particularly the larger amounts, these are big problems that we're trying to resolve, and it does take some time to be able to do that. So hopefully that helps you out. If you want some more information on how to deal with debt problems, head on over to consumerwarrior.com. There we have hundreds of articles and other videos. I have an audio podcast that deals with a lot of issues like wage garnishment, bankruptcy, debt collection lawsuits, credit reports, and how you can deal with these things and get back on track. So thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later.